Wait, it's really no good.
Despite my husband's attempt to quickly stand up and stop me, the side dish unexpectedly came to the rescue. With a swift motion, my husband extended his right leg and accidentally stepped on the side dishes, slamming his body onto the floor.
Ouch!
Ignoring my groaning husband, I energetically opened the door. Surprise! Well, I already knew. When I saw off the paramedics, I noticed some unfamiliar woman's shoes placed at the entrance. You see, my name is Eleanor, and I work as a manager in a company. I have lived a life solely focused on work until now, but I got married 6 months ago and now live with my husband, Owen. My husband and I are 5 years apart, and I'm the older wife. Our paths crossed 8 years ago. He came to my workplace as a salesperson for a job magazine, eager to make a sales pitch. I still vividly remember that moment. As a recent graduate, he had a nervous expression on his face as he dived into the sales pitch. My husband, who had recently become independent from his senior colleagues, was unsure of whom to approach and appeared flustered at the reception desk. And it happened that I was coincidentally there. I returned from a slightly late lunch to find my husband at the reception desk. "Is there something I can help you with?" Unable to get a response from him at the reception desk and sensing his suspicious behavior, I approached him.
I came about the job magazine.
Oh, I see. Did your contact person change?
Huh?
My husband looked bewildered. Being a newcomer, he was eager to knock on the doors of this company. However, job magazine contracts are usually handled by the headquarters of major companies. Unaware of this, he was determined to secure a major contract. Unfortunately, he ended up coming to the company where I work, which is a subcontractor. When I explained this to him, his face turned beet red.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, not at all. I believe that kind of enthusiasm is really important in your work, you know. Good luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
At that moment, I found my husband so fresh and adorable. Or so I thought. But there was no romantic feelings involved. I simply thought he was cute as a newcomer. So I completely forgot about this exchange at the time. Fate is an unpredictable thing. It honestly slipped my mind how much time had passed since then. But my husband and I unexpectedly ran into each other at a store near the company. Yes, I had forgotten about the interaction with my husband at that time.
I appreciate your help back then.
Huh?
At your company's reception.
Oh, right. How have things been since then?
Yes, there are still many difficult things, but I'm somehow managing and doing my best.
We engaged in casual conversation and then headed home, but we continued to run into each other several times at that convenience store. We exchanged contact information, and I was probably the first one to become aware of each other as potential romantic interests. I really wanted to support him in his clumsy but hard work. However, what still concerned me was the fact that he was 5 years younger. Although I had feelings for him, I couldn't clearly express those feelings. It was at that moment when he asked me to be in a relationship, and I gladly accepted without any hesitation. Since then, we have been dating for a long time, and it has brought us to the present. I felt happy to have been able to marry the person I loved so much. However, 4 months after our marriage, he decided to quit the job he had been working so hard in as a salesperson for the job magazine. Of course, he consulted with me before making the decision to resign.
No matter how hard you work as a subcontractor, you can never see a clear future.
While he works as a salesperson for the job magazine, he is not an employee of the company that publishes the magazine. He is actually an employee of a company approved to conduct businesses as a subcontractor for the major company. I knew from the beginning of our relationship that he was a subcontractor. However, it was after we got married that he started expressing these concerns.
In that aspect, Eleanor, you're in a better position. You have a stable job as a proper employee.
I find myself at a loss for words during moments like these. He's a full-time employee of the company, and I'm sure he's in no different position than I am.
Since the change in department heads, I'm really struggling. The quotas have become more demanding, and lately, I haven't been able to meet them. I'm constantly getting scolded by the department head.
I see. What if you try a different approach?
That's what the department head also mentioned. So you're still a manager, Eleanor. Did you forget how it feels to be in a lower position?
In the end, no matter what I say, it doesn't seem to reach my husband, who has fallen into a negative mindset. Lately, my husband has been like this all the time. Honestly, I was tired of this atmosphere.
I want to quit my job.
I couldn't affirm or deny those words. I thought that if it meant being liberated from this negative period, it might be worth considering and accepting.
From now on, I'm thinking of being a full-time house husband. Eleanor, you enjoy your job, don't you? I'll put more effort into taking care of the household tasks in return.
However, there were some words he said that I found hard to understand. Can someone who has never really done household chores suddenly be able to handle them? It seemed like he was underestimating the work involved in managing the household. Certainly, there is a difference between working outside the home and taking care of the household. But managing the household encompasses providing food, clothing, and shelter, and it's a demanding job. I honestly struggle with household chores, and I have deep respect for those who can smoothly handle them. I wonder if he can handle all of that. It's a significant doubt. Household chores. Have you ever done them before? Oh, and you were living with your parents until you married me, right? Besides, even after we got married, I was the one doing the household chores, right?
I don't mind. It's just household chores.
Just household chores? Those words really bothered me. Just? It's not something that simple.
It's okay, it's okay. Being a full-time house husband is just the right kind of job for me.
I can't help but feel that my husband's remarks are belittling the role of a house husband. It didn't sit well with me. We owe our ability to live our lives to this point to the foundation provided by our parents. My family, specifically, my father worked outside the home to earn a living while my mother took care of the household. It was the collaboration of my parents that made me who I am today. Both are important jobs that must not be lacking. My husband seemed as if he didn't get that.
Eleanor, you think I can't do it, don't you?
That's not true at all. I was just a little unsure. You know, I've never seen you doing household tasks before.
We won't know until we try, right? Are you already doubting me before I even start?
It's not exactly like that. However, I've seen many junior colleagues at work over the years. Most new employees are full of enthusiasm, but as they get more accustomed to their work, some of them start cutting corners. But they lack experience. That's why they sometimes overlook the areas where corners can be cut, which can lead to significant mistakes. And they all have something in common. At first, they are all eager and say, "I'll do my best." You won't know until you try, is their emotional appeal. I see my husband doing the same thing right in front of me. I can't help but have a bad feeling about it. But this is not a workplace, it's our home. Since it's our family, I wanted to believe in his motivation. So I agreed to my husband resigning from his job under the condition that he takes care of the household. For the past week, my husband has been working hard, despite being unfamiliar with it. I can see a bit of dust in the corners, but I won't point it out. Since he's making an effort, I believe it's the time to encourage and support him. In the midst of all this, my husband mentioned wanting to attend cooking classes.
I want to improve my cooking skills and treat you to delicious meals, Eleanor.
Thank you. Do your best. I agreed without hesitation. I was happy to see his enthusiasm. I believe that this expense should be spent without hesitation. However, after attending cooking classes for 3 weeks, he started expressing complaints. Even when I come home tired from work, All that's prepared on the table is convenience store lunches. Hey, what have you been doing during the day? I couldn't stay silent anymore after a week of continuous convenience store meals.
I've been studying cooking.
I don't see any results though.
I'm tired, so there's nothing I can do about it.
I understand. Working can be tiring sometimes. Are you tired for a whole week? If it were just a few days, it would be understandable, but this seems like a complete mess.
You don't understand anything, Eleanor. You have no idea how difficult household chores are.
I do understand. That's why I've been expressing my gratitude all along.
But it's actually me who's doing it. You're all talk, Eleanor.
I felt incredibly angry. What was the point of that discussion we had? Well then, don't do the housework anymore.
Huh?
Owen's eyes are sparkling with excitement. He really reminds me of those juniors at the company who only talk big.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because you can't do it, right?
I guess it's not for me. Trying it out made me realize that.
Oh well, in that case, I'll take care of the housework. You should focus on finding a job.
Huh? Why?
Why? I should be the one asking that question. How can you ask why in this situation? You abandoned the housework, so you're unemployed, right? I don't intend to support an unemployed person. Please find a job and make good use of your time. Owen fell silent for a while and then looked at me with wide eyes.
Let's have a child.
Huh?
I'll take care of the child.
Oh, really? Do you even like children? By the way, do you have any qualifications related to education?
No, I don't.
Oh, I see. Well, even without qualifications, you can still work. If you want to, you can try looking for a job.
No, not like that. It's about raising a child. It'll be our child, you know?
What?
Let's have a child. Then it won't be a problem if I stay at home, right?
My affection for him, which had barely held on, was shattered by his words. To this person, it's impossible. Let's get a divorce.
What? Why?
Why did you marry me in the first place? Before marrying me, you were working, putting in so much effort. And yet, right after we got married, you quit your job and said you would do the household chores. I accepted that and have been watching over you, but it didn't last. If being married to me is moving you in a negative direction, that's not a good thing. Besides, I want you to keep your promises. I've been supporting you in my own way all this time. But I'm not a saint. I don't intend to support someone who's fully dependent on me. His expression changed drastically.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I won't rely on you anymore. I'll take care of the household chores properly. Please, don't leave me.
Seeing my husband crying in front of me, my resolve remained unchanged. Even though he was sobbing, I knew that no real solution would come from comforting him now. So I suggested that we have a proper discussion at a later time. I actually wanted to have the discussion right away, but I had a business trip the next day and didn't have the time for a meaningful conversation. Although I felt reluctant to leave, I finished preparing for the business trip. The next morning when I woke up, breakfast was prepared. My husband kept apologizing, saying,
I'm sorry, multiple times.
"Thank you for breakfast, it's delicious."
Yeah, I'm glad. When will you be back?
Maybe in 3 days.
Oh, I see. I'll take care of things at home properly. Take care on your business trip, okay?
Yeah, thank you. In front of me is a husband who seems completely heartbroken. It would be a lie to say that my heart is not swayed by his appearance. However, no matter how complicated my personal life may be, I won't let it affect my work. I mentally switched gears and headed to my business trip. I had planned to have meetings spread out over 3 days, but one of the client's representatives fell ill, so the meetings were canceled on the second day. I ended up coming back home one day early. I thought about contacting my husband to let him know about the change in plans, but considering the tension between us, I decided to just inform him that the schedule had changed. I was worried that it would further unsettle him. With that in mind, I purchased a ready-made meal and returned home. "I'm back." There was no response when I called out at the entrance. The house was completely dark. Maybe he's not home. I walked towards the living room without turning on the lights, and as I opened the door to the living room, there was a loud noise. What? I quickly turned on the lights to find my husband wearing only his underwear collapsed on the floor. "Hey, Owen?" It was my first experience of feeling completely blank in my mind. I hurriedly approached the living room. What should I do? An ambulance. I quickly called an ambulance. While waiting for them to arrive, I kept calling my husband's name desperately, but he remained unconscious. Afterwards, the paramedics arrived and tried to communicate with my husband, but there was no response.
Please accompany us.
Understood. I was in a state of panic. Oh, I dropped a few side dishes there. Please be careful. I called out to the paramedics to prevent them from slipping on the side dishes I accidentally dropped in a moment of panic, but the scattered side dishes were also at my feet. As I stepped on them and lost my balance, the phone I was holding flew into the air and fell forcefully towards my husband. Did I just hear a voice? I unintentionally made eye contact with one of the paramedics. I gently peered into my husband's face and realized something. Perhaps the paramedics are thinking the same thing. I apologize.
Huh? Oh.
You can go home now, it's fine.
Ah, I see.
Yes, I'm truly sorry for causing a disturbance.
Oh, no worries. Well then, we'll take our leave. They lowered my husband from the stretcher and left the house. I saw them off to the front door. Then something caught my eye. I truly felt sorry. I apologized to the paramedics as well, but if there were people who truly needed them while they were tending to my husband, then what my husband did would be a grave offense. I couldn't forgive it from the bottom of my heart. My husband, wearing nothing but his underwear, was lying on the floor. The season was approaching winter. Surely it must be very cold like this. Wake up quickly. Why did you do such a thing? There was no response from my husband. Hello, Mr. Feigned Illness? Achoo! You don't sneeze when you're unconscious, right? Wake up already. He seems to have quite the resilience. Ah, that's right. I should dress you in clothes, or you'll be cold. Let me bring some clothes. As I tried to get up and head to my husband's room, something wrapped around my leg. No! My husband was desperately grabbing on to my leg. Oh, is the fainting act over? Absolutely not, because it's no good. What is it? Don't come into my room. Why not? Sir? It's a surprise. I'm preparing a lot of things for you, Eleanor, when you come back tomorrow. Don't look. Then it's a surprise for now. Wait, it's really not allowed. As my husband hurriedly got up and tried to stop me, the side dishes came in handy. With a swift motion, my husband extended his right leg and accidentally stepped on the side dishes, slamming his body onto the floor. Ouch. Ignoring my writhing husband, I forcefully opened the door. Surprise! I already knew. When I saw off the paramedics, there were unfamiliar woman's shoes placed at the entrance. Are you my husband's affair partner? It's not an affair. We're serious, but... Oh, even though you're serious, you were instructed to hide, right? It's to keep me from getting involved. Is that so? You're careless. No, she's my sister. Oh, weren't you an only child? Don't tell such obvious lies. Hey, affair partner, do you want to marry him? Of course. There's no one else as kind as him. Oh, I see. That's what you say. Well then, I'll grant you a divorce.
Huh? Is that okay? Yes, of course.
Wait a minute. I don't want to divorce you, Eleanor.
Wait, Owen? Didn't you say that you wanted to divorce but your wife wouldn't let you? Wasn't that what you said? Isn't it contradictory?
Hold on. Just shut up already. You're obviously just a fling for me. I like older women who have their own income. You can't support an easy life like mine. Seriously, just shut up, you idiot.
How cruel! You deceived me.
It's the foolish one who gets deceived.
She is sobbing. Well, there's no room for sympathy, though. That's right, it's the foolish one who gets deceived.
Eleanor, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry about this time. I was lonely and ended up playing around, but you are my true love, Eleanor.
No, I'm also one of those who got deceived by you. So you wanted to marry a financially stable older woman to have an easy life, didn't you?
Huh? Did I say something like that?
Oh no. Don't you remember the insults you hurled at your affair partner? You said them right in front of me. I have also woken up. I will divorce you. Of course, as you are the one at fault, I will seek compensation from you. I don't need someone in my life who pretends to faint to cover up their own affair. There is nothing left to hesitate about.
Wait a minute. If you're gone, how am I supposed to go on living?
Work.
Huh?
Work and take care of yourself on your own.
Wait.
We have nothing more to talk about. We'll involve lawyers from now on. My husband stubbornly refused to leave, but when I contacted my in-laws, they took him away. I later claimed damages from the tearful mistress who left in a hurry. I expected to be met with resistance, but surprisingly, she immediately transferred the compensation. She returned to our house with her parents, bowing and apologizing on all fours. Well, she must have believed my husband's lies. Cheating is not commendable, but thanks to her, I'm grateful for having an advantageous position in the divorce proceedings with my husband. If she truly reflects on this matter, I hope she learns from it in the future. About a month after that incident, I divorced my husband. He stubbornly resisted until the end, but my father-in-law silenced him under a reign of fear. He was a foolish man who committed infidelity, but my in-laws are very sincere people. They also managed to defeat him when he greedily demanded a share of the assets. Well, considering we were married for a short time, the issue of asset division doesn't really matter much. It's really insignificant in the grand scheme of things. In the end, my ex-husband handed over $3,000 from his savings as compensation, and we reached a settlement. Afterwards, I heard that he, being unemployed, is assisting my former father-in-law with his occupation as a fisherman. With zero savings and no financial freedom, he is living under the surveillance of my parents-in-law, or so I've heard. Given that, my former father-in-law was determined to instill discipline and had a strong will. I imagine my ex-husband is being treated quite harshly. Meanwhile, I have become somewhat distant from love due to this incident. However, it's frustrating that it's because of him that I ended up like this. If there is another chance someday, I want to seize it without hesitation. After all, life is still long.